Recently, I was filming someone speaking in Russian. Now, let me be clear. I do not speak Russian, not even a little bit. But while I was behind the camera, I was making eye contact, asking her questions, there was energy. There was a connection. There was rapport. At one point, the speaker looked at me as if I completely understood everything they were saying. I didn't understand a word. And that moment reminded me of something that I feel is very important to share with you in today's Move the Room podcast. You see, feeling connection does not mean movement is happening. Energy in the room or between two people does not mean alignment. Rapport can exist and nothing changes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So many people believe that connection, rapport, energy are the keys to moving an audience or moving a room. And to be clear, those things matter, okay? But you cannot be robotic, you cannot be cold, you cannot ignore relational dynamics. I get it. But those things are not the deciding factor. Let's say you come home from a date and you're like, man, that connection was amazing. Or you're leading a sales team. I've experienced this many times. And a sales rep on your team that you manage, person you manage, walks into your office and says, I got a big deal coming. The rapport was solid. Or let's say you are interviewing a job and afterwards you're so excited because the energy was there. And you think, I'm definitely getting hired. You could be a teacher and you think they were so attentive today. They were nodding. They get it. No. They don't. Look, can you move an audience without connection, rapport, and energy? No, you cannot. But can you move a room or move an audience because of connection, rapport, and energy? No, you will not. Those are important, but they are not the defining factor. That's really what I'm trying to say. So what is the defining factor? I'm so glad you asked that question. Very cool that you asked that question. It's very simple. Trust. To move an audience, it comes down to trust.
And how do you get somebody to trust you, Troy?
That's what we're going to talk about, man. Brandon asked the question, how do you get to trust? In the marketing world, there is a journey. They've been talking about this for decades, and it's called the know, like, trust journey. Before anyone moves or buys or commits, before they follow you, before they hire you, before they believe in you, they move through a progression. So in order for them to like you, they have to know you. They have to know who you are. In order for them to trust you, they have to like you. It's the know, like, trust journey. Movement only happens at the end of that progression when they trust you. So let me tell you more about the know, like, trust journey. So the phrase know, like, trust comes from direct response marketing and relationship-based selling. It was built around the idea that conversation is not transactional. There's a relationship, right? In traditional advertising, you interrupt attention, you push a message, and in relationship marketing, you build familiarity over time. Now we're getting into the psychology of moving an audience, but it really is simple when you think about it. Before someone makes a decision involving risk, they subconsciously evaluate three things. Do I know this person or brand? Do I like them? Do I trust them? Know is having awareness and being familiar. It answers the question, who are you? Like is affinity and alignment. It answers the question, do I resonate with you? Are we vibing? Trust is credibility and safety. It answers the question, can I rely on you? And the mistake most people make is trying to skip stages as they attempt to move the room. They try to extract commitment at the like phase. They confuse warmth and readiness, but trust is what lowers perceived risk, and every decision involves perceived risk. Movement only happens when perceived risk drops below perceived reward. And trust is the mechanism that lowers risk. This is why, even though important, rapport alone is not enough. So how do you move someone into the know phase? Knowing is not about impressing. It is about clarity. When you meet someone for the first time, whether it is a prospect, a hiring manager, an audience, or even a new friend, the first objective is not persuasion. It is orientation. Now, don't get me started on the hookup culture and how they've blown all this all out of proportion, but that's a separate video for a separate time. Isn't that right, Brandon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. People need to understand who you are, what you stand for, and what you actually do. The fastest way to build know is through consistency and context. These videos, for example, that I share with you, sure, the views might be down. I don't care, because when I meet someone and they want to know more about me, they're going to come and watch the videos and learn more about who I am, my character, my background. It doesn't matter if there's only 50 views down there. We're not talking about influencer from that state. We're talking about getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Be clear about your identity and consistent in your message. When speaking to a group, understand who they are before you start talking about yourself. When meeting someone one-on-one, ask thoughtful questions before sharing your expertise. Knowing happens when someone can describe you accurately to a third party. If they cannot explain what you do or what you represent, they don't know you yet. They don't know Jack. And without knowing, liking and trusting will never form. I watch a lot of podcasts, and that podcast host is in a groove, and he's spitting fire or she's spitting fire, and they're moving right along, and all of a sudden, whoop, we have a side transition where they do a promo. Well, I'm going to do the same thing. If you're a business owner and you feel like your message should be landing better than it is, there's a good chance the issue is not your offer. It's the way you're telling your story, especially on video. And through Boom Video, my team and I help businesses turn their message into clear, story-driven videos that actually connects with their target audience. We work in Vegas, headquartered in Henderson, actually, East Henderson, but it's the Vegas Valley. And we go to Phoenix, we go to Seattle, we go to SoCal. If that's you, if you have a business in any of those areas, and this topic resonates with you, then please reach out. I would love to get to know you better. I would love to get to know your story better, and let's see if we can work together. Once someone knows who you are, the next phase is like. Liking is about alignment, not charm, although I am quite charming. You do not move someone from know to like by performing, although I do perform. You move them by revealing shared values, shared perspectives, or shared experiences. It is less about impressing and more about resonating. And the reason I made those jokes earlier about me is because I am charming and I am a performer. And there are so many times that I think I'm at a certain place with an audience and they're not there with me. So I'm thinking about myself. In reality, I got to be thinking about them. And this is where authenticity matters, right? If you pretend to be someone else to win approval, you might generate temporary approval, but you will not build lasting affinity. And listening plays a huge role in the like phase. People tend to like those who understand them, not those who dominate the conversation. When someone feels heard, they feel respected. When they feel respected, affinity increases. Again, liking is not enough to move your audience or to move your room. People like many individuals they would never hire, follow, or buy from. Like does create comfort. Trust, on the other hand, creates commitment. Now let's talk about the most exciting part of this, the shift from like to trust. This is where movement becomes possible. Trust is built through consistency, competence, and congruence. Consistency means you show up the same way over time. Competence means you can actually do what you say you can do. Congruence means your words and actions match. In the film world, we call it continuity. Trust grows when someone sees evidence, not hype, not energy. Evidence, man. This might be results. It might be testimonials. It might be a track record. It might simply be observing you handling pressure with integrity. You see, trust lowers risk. And when risk drops, decisions happen naturally. This is why you cannot move an audience simply because the energy was good. Energy may open the door, yet trust is what invites someone to walk through it.
What's up, my movers? Hey, remember, I'm just getting back to podcasting. It's been a few years, and over those few years, I've noticed everyone says this thing right in the middle of their podcast to like, comment, and smash that subscribe button. So if you like this video, do me a solid and hit the notification bell so you will never miss a future update. Now let's get back to it.
I remember the first time I got into an Uber. Do you remember the first time you got into an Uber? I was sitting upright. I was very alert, watching everything, paying attention to the route, looking at my phone, a little nervous. I didn't know the driver. I did not know the system. What is he going to do? Pull me in the back alley? He could murder me, and who would know? The next few times in the Uber, though, I was a little more relaxed. I understood the process. The rating system mattered. I experienced a few normal rides in a row without incident. I started chatting with the folks. I understood. Now, today, I get into an Uber. I pop open my laptop. I start getting work done. Sometimes I'll even maybe fall asleep in the back seat. What changed? Did Uber change? No, man. Uber did not change. You see, I changed. I was the audience of Uber. I went through the know, like, trust progression. I became familiar with the system and developed a comfort in that system. I built trust in the structure. The perceived risk dropped. So now I act differently. Movement didn't happen because the driver had great energy or we had rapport. It happened because trust was built over time. So let me end with this, man. Connection does matter. Rapport matters. Energy matters. But none of them are the deciding factor. Trust is. Before anyone moves, they must know you, then like you, then trust you. If you try to extract commitment before trust exists, you create resistance. And if you respect the progression, the movement will feel natural. It'll just happen. So the next time you walk away from a conversation thinking the vibe was great, ask a better question. Did they trust me? Because when trust is present, movement is not forced. You got it. Now go get it. We move.